Window Part 2, The Architect's Room. 15-minute read, cinematic format with immersive detail and psychological dread. It was a TikTok that brought Eric Grant back to Wilmington. Not a haunting, not a ghost story. A clip, 15 seconds long, a grainy video of an empty hotel hallway, the camera lens crooked as if it had fallen. The carpeting was red, velvet, worn. A single shoe on the ground, toe pointing toward the open door of room 523. Then the light came on, soft, flickering, and there, barely visible in the darkened mirror across the hall, Chanel, or what was left of her, spinning slowly, her head turning too far, her face blank, as if carved from wax. And then the video cut to black. Eric hadn't seen Chanel in 5 years. They met in grad school, fell apart after her thesis took over her life. But he remembered the way she smiled when she found something no one else saw. He remembered how she talked about the Halverton Hotel. It's not haunted because people died there. It's haunted because something lived there and still does. He didn't believe in ghosts, but he believed in her. And when the police found nothing, just an empty room, a camera with corrupted footage, and a journal half burned, he drove 10 hours through the night and walked through the front doors of Halverton the next morning, alone. The air was thick, like the building was holding its breath. Eric found her journal pages scattered in the ballroom. The entries grew erratic, spiraling in tone and handwriting. Most were unreadable, but one stood out. "I thought it was a haunting. It's not. It's a cycle. I see her in mirrors. I hear my voice coming from her mouth. The building wants me to forget where I end, and she begins." Another page, written in frantic ink. "There's a room that doesn't show up on blueprints. 5th floor, behind the linen wall. I can hear someone breathing in there." Eric began mapping the hotel. As an architect himself, it came naturally. He noticed oddities, dead space in the layout, impossible room angles, hallways that curved slightly, not enough to notice unless you walked them again and again. By the 3rd day, he found it. A seam in the wallpaper near the fire escape. He pulled it back. Behind it, plaster, crumbling. A door. No handle, no markings, just a narrow slit, like something had been sealed shut. He brought tools the next day. Sledgehammer, crowbar. On the 6th strike, the wall caved in. Plaster and dust filled the air. Beyond, a room untouched by time. No number. No window. Just drawings. Hundreds of them. Architectural sketches pinned to the walls with rusted nails. Floor plans that twisted into spirals. Rooms without exits. Doors to nowhere. But every one of them had a name written at the top in calligraphy. The Architect's Room. At the far end, an easel, and on it the finished sketch of a woman standing at a window, hair pinned up, one arm outstretched, the other skeletal, unfleshed. Eric stepped closer. The sketch had Chanel's eyes. That night he dreamed of a voice humming through the walls, a lullaby, warped and slowed. "Come upstairs, we saved you a room." He woke up with plaster dust under his fingernails, but he didn't remember leaving his bed. Over the next week, the hotel began to change. Rooms he'd locked were now open. Mirrors reflected furniture that wasn't there. He found a photo, old, brittle, black and white. A woman in a 1920s gown standing at the 5th floor window. Same pose, same arm. On the back, Lydia Marsh, first to enter the 5th, the architect's bride. Eric started digging through archives, city records, preservation documents. They barely mentioned Lydia, but she was real, a socialite. Danced at the grand opening of the Halverton in 1926. Died that same year. Fell from the 5th floor window. Except there was no record of a burial. No body. Just a brief line in the newspaper. Miss Marsh was lost to the hotel. Eric couldn't stop going back. He tried, packed his things, got as far as his car before the engine died, the air turned ice cold, and the rearview mirror showed the ballroom behind him. Only he wasn't in the ballroom. But something else was. Wearing his face. The Architect's Room called to him louder each night. The walls whispered. The sketches multiplied. Some were of him now, sleeping. Writing, standing in front of the window. And one sketch that terrified him most. Eric pulling open a door in the basement, marked Boiler Room, and descending into darkness. The next morning, that door was unlocked. He told himself it was just a dream, a trick of the mind. But when he descended the rusted stairs, lantern in hand, the temperature dropped 30 degrees. The boiler room stretched far deeper than it should. a cavern beneath the foundation. And at the far end, an iron door, circular, vault-like, sealed with hand-carved sigils. It opened when he touched it, and beyond, a second ballroom. But this one wasn't abandoned. It was crowded. Figures in flapper dresses and tuxedos danced in slow motion, faces blurred, eyes hollow, music playing backwards. And at the center of it all, Chanel, wearing the same dress as Lydia Marsh, eyes wide, mouth moving. Eric stepped forward, whispering her name. She turned to him, blinked once, and said, "You're next." He woke up on the 5th floor hallway carpet, the sketchbook open beside him. A new drawing. Of him, standing in room 523, holding hands with the woman from the mirror. And above them, in ornate calligraphy, all guests must eventually check in. They never found Eric. But sometimes if you search old architectural forums or deep web hotel threads, you'll find his last post. No title, just a photo. The 5th floor window, glowing gold. And below it, in tiny text, "She dances when the windows rattle. And now, I do too."